All right, it is March 17th at 11:04. We're going to call to order the regular Electric Utility Board meeting. Anyone signed up for public comment? All right, no one signed up for public comment. We will now recess into executive session in accordance with 1 BTCA Government Code 551.086 on competitive matters developing L, 2 BTCA Government Code 551.071 seeking advice of the consultation with its attorneys. 3 BTCA Government Code 551.072 to deliberate the purchase, exchange, lease, and value of real property. And 4 BTCA Government Code 551.074 to deliberate the appointment, employment, evaluation, and/or duties of a public officer or employee. We are now going into exec. All right, it's 12:19. We will reconvene in open session. The first item 7, we need to approve the minutes from the regular EUB meeting on February 18, 2020, the minutes of the special called EUB meeting February 18, 2020, and the minutes of the special called EUB meeting on March 6, 2020. A motion for that.
Motion to approve, Chairman.
One motion, need a second?
Second.
Okay. Any changes or discussion there? If not, approval of those, all in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed by the same. That passes. Item 8, Mr. McCullough.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We've got the written report in the board packet. I wanted to highlight just a few things. Look on page 38, the reliability statistics. Seen quite a improvement over the last few months. Of course, most of that is weather related. I mean, we've had a pretty mild weather season. Remember last January, February, March, we had some wind events that we had those 60-mile-an-hour winds that did a lot of damage to our system. So we've been somewhat exempt from that this year. So we've seen some improvement in reliability.
Knock on wood.
I know, but every time I talk, I brag on the water, we start having major outages. Hoping that won't happen this time. On page 40, I want to hit a couple of things because it's really important, I think, noteworthy. Down at the bottom, there's some bullet points. I wanted to highlight that we've added another 167 customers to paperless billing for a total of 25,000 customers that are on paperless billing now. And I look back at a year ago, on February 19th, statistics, we only had 15,000. So in a year, we've added 10,000 people to that paperless billing, and this is all the credit to Jamie and her group, because I know they've really paid a lot of attention to, working with folks to try to get them to drop that paper bill, because it's cost savings that everybody benefits from. And then the other thing, the kiosk payments are now $24.20 for the month. Looking back a year ago, we had 1,705, so that's about a 700 increase in people that are paying. They're comfortable now using the kiosk. Initially, they were pretty nervous about using the kiosk, and I think that'll improve more when you get citizens tired, because we're going to have the new kiosks that actually give change. The ones that we've had up to now do not give change. So I think that some folks have been reluctant to put extra money in there to be credited to their account. They don't want to use it because it can get the cash back. And then I had several of these comments on the surveys highlighted. I won't go through all those, but we've had, given some. I know you see the negative comments on social media sometimes, but these folks are coming into our offices and dealing with their CSRs. If you read through some of those comments, our folks get great reviews. Friendly, pleasant, helpful, patient, knowledgeable. I mean, just over and over comments like that from the CSRs.
What page is that on?
That's on page 41 through 43. We report every single one of the survey comments that we get every month, and so it's really encouraging to get that kind of feedback from the customers that are dealing with us.
I think this is the first month that we had 100% very satisfied. We've always had a handful of satisfieds. We usually don't have any unsatisfied or very, but this was nice to see 100% this month.
Did we do anything for them for that?
Well, we recognize there's a whole program in place for all the CSRs. I don't know, Jake, you want to do a quick overview?
You're on the spot, Dave.
well, there's a scorecard that includes some of the surveys are part of that scorecard. So at the end of each quarter, any employee that qualifies for the employee recognition, either breakfast or lunch, based on their statistics over that past quarter. So things like the e-bill, things like 100% customer surveys, additionally having customers added to Project Helping Hands, any of those kind of initiatives, we add on to the CSR's responsibility, and it's a bonus for us, it's a bonus for them.
Mr. Chairman, just a comment, changing culture in an organization is the hardest thing to do. So Andy, you and all of you that do that, that's a lot of heavy lifting, and most of it is organizations behave as their leaders. So they are simply mirroring what you do. So thank you for that.
So, on page 44, the electric AMI report, project recap, just as of March 17th. I don't know, this is as of March 9th, I guess, last week. We had 96,000 meters installed, which is about 90%. The risk summary on page 45 is still, commercial meter inventory is still what's keeping us from getting complete. But the impact of delayed completion is expected to be low. So we've got 2,000 or so commercial meters that haven't been delivered yet. I don't know if we've gotten a commitment from Itron yet as to when they're going to deliver those.
It's still anticipated April, timeframe.
So they've had some parts delivered, and I don't know if it's related to some of the disruption in supply chain in China and whatnot, but they've lagged in providing these commercial meters to us. We'll get them eventually, but the project may not be complete for a couple of months, but pretty close. The AMI water deployment is really improved. We're about 75,000 meters out of 88,000 installed. That's about 85%. That's on page 46 of the report. Still working through quality issues on that, but I think we're getting pretty close to finish line. Anything on water you want?
Is that the same commercial as lagging? Don't know.
That project started a little bit later than the
Right. So it's
electric
probably
anyway, so
possible.
it's already lagging just because of the timing when we started it. But it's not really delivery of meters issues; it's just getting the work done. And it's on track.
Right, and we're really, on both water and electric, the commercials, are here at the end is where we're really trying to get the commercials completed, so that takes just a little bit of
Thank you.
And then the customer information system project recap, the other major project that's going on. Critical path, this is on page 49. The critical path is still the bill print, payment processing, customer web interface, which is supplied by Cooper. We're using them now. Interface with Banner Reynolds. We've got to get the interface and move it over to the Oracle system. So there's work continuing to go on. Though we will eventually have to bring a resolution to the board for approval of an agreement with Kubra to do the work on that interface. And that's what they're working on right now, is get the scope of that project developed. There's also a decision upcoming about what release we're going to launch on, because Oracle produces these releases throughout the year. We originally planned to go live with 20A, which we're working with right now, but 20B is scheduled for delivery on August 1st. And so we're trying to make this decision. Our steering committee will meet, I think, later this week, and we'll talk about that this morning, get some additional information. But so the question is, do we want to just delay until 20B is available rather than having to launch on one version and then shift over to the new version and have a limited amount of time to get the new version up and running? So that's what we're struggling with right now. Anything to add to that? And that's really all I want to touch on. Any other questions on the written material? I think Troy's got the construction report.
So I'm just going to hit the three projects that have the most risk or change coming up to them rather than go through all 30 slides for you guys. So globally, as you scroll through there, you'll notice that this rate of spend for all these projects is ramping up rather quickly into this quarter and throughout the rest of this year. We knew that was coming, and it's a function of Encore ramping up their construction efforts, as well as LPL adding additional projects that they're all building at the same time. So that is a common theme throughout the significant majority of the projects to look at. For this project here, 92405, which is the Chalker to Thompson transmission line.
Page 59.
Yeah, but you're doing pages also, 59.
Yes, ma'am. So that project will have a crossing across the loop with a full wire across the loop, and that's expected on the 22nd and 23rd of March, so next week. And we're working with the LPL management team to make them aware of that. So just a heads up on that project. And then the next project, which is, someone will have to help me, 92477, Holly to Southeast. Should be 4 pages back. 63. Page 63. So, Holly to Southeast, this project has a little risk on the table from a right-of-way perspective. We're pushing forward as hard as we can, but there's some right-of-way efforts that we need to break loose more quickly in order for us to meet the current construction schedule start date that we have planned. But we're working through that with the right-of-way team. And then 8 pages back on 92474.
So 71.
This is the future North 345 yard. So if you remember when we filed the 4 CCNs with Encore and all those different interface points where LPL would touch the 345 kV system, the North scenario or CCN had 2 different options on it. We didn't know if the 345 line would stop someplace north of the city of Lubbock or if it would come all the way down to the XFAB facilities. That CCN was finalized last week. We got the final order. And so what that determined was 345 lines would come all the way adjacent to the XFAB facilities, which would put LPL's 115 kV substation and Encore's 345 yard adjacent to one another at or just to the west of XFAB facilities. So because of that change, it was a different scenario than we had originally modeled in the cash flow forecast. There will be name changes and budget reallocations that we'll bring to you next month for recommendations to reallocate those funds to accurately capture the scope. So that change is coming up. And if there's no other specific questions, those are the ones that have either risk or changes coming up to them in the coming months.
Questions or comments? Those are all in here. Ask, time and everything else. Debated and identify which ones have risk or have issues and stuff coming up rather than hearing every single case that's going through on these 30 projects and 27 of them are on time. So, and everything. So we'll identify that kind of going forward and take a little more time for everyone.
Mr. Chairman, I just have a general question on it. About the 30 projects and with what's going on in the world right now. Is there any contingency planning for risk mitigation or schedule lapses because of delivery materials or workforce issues, scheduling? Talking about that at this point, how this affects our timeline for other 30 projects.
So from our assessment to date, I talked to Felix just a couple minutes ago, we haven't received a bunch of notifications from, really just one notification from a major material vendor that has indicated they're having slowdowns in their supply chain. The construction contractors have also not indicated that they have expected slowdowns. To be candid, if either the material vendors or the construction contractors declare force majeure in a contract, we'll have to evaluate that on a per contract basis. But our ability to come up with contingency plans won't be very fruitful until we can figure out what the backside looks like.
I will say this, we don't have a lot of slack in the schedule right now, so any delays in material or construction contractors may push us past the June 1st. So we kind of have slack.
On the construction side, I'm getting more and more interest in our project right now. So I don't know if that's a good thing, because I don't know if other places are shutting down. I think I had a call that some of the jobs are stopping, so they're looking for work.
Got
So
crews there.
they got crews available, so I'm actually getting more interest from other contractors I've never even heard of before. And some of the things that we're trying to do now in our pre-conference meetings and stuff is make it all remote and all that stuff where folks chime in, ask questions. So that's kind of a good thing, I think, for us. So the material side, we're still watching and all that stuff, see what's going on there. But the construction side, I think is actually benefiting us.
Local contractors or?
All over, also, all over. Yes, sir.
And on that same note, I talked to Encore yesterday, and they have basically the same story that LPNL has with regards to their material vendors and contractors. They are taking steps to look at some of their master material agreements and see if they can have a backup plan for stateside suppliers of insulators and stuff like that, where they currently have a supplier that's overseas. They have a little more flexibility in how they approach that.
Any questions, comments? Thanks, George. Oh, no, thanks, Chris. All right, Andy, you renew,
Well, I was going to mention kind of as part of David's presentation, since it deals with the business office, just to kind of give y'all a high level on a few changes we've made this week in our lobby. We have, to avoid, the exchanging of cash and coins, we really done away with our tellers or our cashiers in the lobby, and we've gone strictly to contactless payments on our kiosks. And so we're driving and assisting our customers to use those kiosks in the lobby and in the drive-thru right now. We actually just started that yesterday. So, a little bit of uncomfortableness for a few customers that came through and aren't used to using it, but we think in a way it'll be a good exercise, because when we move to the new building, it'll be mostly kiosk driven anyway. So it's a good time to have a crash course in learning how to operate the kiosk. So we've done that in a manner to hopefully protect our cashiers a little bit more. And then we've also added some protection, in the center for our other front-facing employees, still taking care of customers as we normally would, just giving them a few more things to help protect them. So we've made those changes, and I think those are the most dramatic that we've done so far, but we've worked very hard with our employees to find ways to make them feel safe and to keep the center as clean as possible, since we have a large number of folks all working together in a facility. We've stopped all of the consultants coming in. They're all working remotely. They're working on our big projects. Most of them can do that effortlessly. So that keeps the outside from coming in. And then also we've been able to separate our employees a lot better because of the extra room we have now without all the consultants in place. So just kind of want to give you all an update there. I don't think it'll materially impact operations. It's just some adjustments we're going through right now. Also, if y'all noticed last night, the council, when they made their emergency declaration, that allowed us to stop with disconnections, and so that will stop that process in our office. We have not stopped the delinquency process, so which that means the customers will still get their notices and letters that they're past due. The late fee system is still kicking in at this point in time, but like I mentioned before, we'll work with customers on a case-by-case basis, visit with them about and work with them as best we can. So.
And how many, or percentage-wise, do you know your payments that come in online? Here you walk in, do you know the percentage?
It's a status on the most recent status, it should be on the.
Electronic is actually 75%.
How many?
Well, I believe this is all utilities. So about 24 million, or 75%, comes in electronically. About 3.6 million goes to the cashier. So about 12% is the
There's a chart on page 40 of the second one from the upper right. Pie chart.
Yeah, so we have a large number of customers who do come into the lobby, and about how many do we have? 3,500?
Well, that's just for visiting with the CSRs up front. When it comes to actual cashier payments, it's about 5,000 to 6,000 individuals a month. But yeah, those two numbers cross over.
And a number of months ago, we had already moved our drive-through to kiosk only. Our pneumatic tubes in our old teller lines went away, and so we didn't invest in repairing those since we're about to move anyway. And so we haven't really had very, very little, if any, upset over going strictly to the kiosk outside. So a lot of folks already have gotten used to using that kiosk, and so we think this will push everybody to get really comfortable with that.
Periodically on that kiosk, I guess it's a touch, do we periodically bring that kiosk?
Yeah, currently we're at every 1 to 2 hours, we're wiping it down, sanitizing it, and cleaning the street off.
And Mr. Chairman, one more question that, well, I think I asked you, in terms of our linemen and field people and whatever, are we providing sanitizer in the truck, or are we working on the
It is
6
available
feet?
for
So
them.
are we doing anything special with that group? I know the office people, but with the line folks.
Nothing special at this point, but they do carry sanitizer with them.
And I can say for our group, we did provide spray that they can wipe down, and then most of them carry the Clorox wipes that they have there, that we got them all spray bottles of disinfectant so that they can wipe down. We've instructed them to wipe down on a regular basis.
You mentioned the number of people, so that's, you said about 5,000 a month. So that's about 200 a day, probably. I mean, sure.
We were just looking at that. Unfortunately, it's really hard to get a really good average just because there's such a flux between the Monday and Friday crowd versus
Right.
the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Okay.
So Monday and Wednesdays, it's pretty consistent, about 200 a day, and then the rest is spread out. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are spread out at a much smaller volume. Now, obviously, the first of the month and the 15th of the month, there's a spike no matter what day of the week it is.
Are we able to, I mean, it's basically the same people all the time that come in and use the cashier facilities, right?
Correct.
Anybody reach out to Don to let him know?
I think I was going to need some training.
Yeah, I'm going to
So
take that
bad
day
it
off
is
when he
okay.
comes in.
We have additional greeters now since they're not cashiers, so they'll be happy to help walk you through the process.
I just think that, one of the places you read everything, elevator buttons and all of that, so you may want to make it more hourly on your kiosk when you see a lot of people. I just think that's one place that you don't always think about, pushing something about a button or door handles.
Other questions or comments? Number 9, Lee?
Have y'all noticed her shoes?
They're really cute.
Well, thank you so
Dad
much.
wants to wear them, you see.
No, I
Anytime. I was just trying to bring in a little bit of color on this gloomy atmosphere that we are all experiencing all around us regarding everything. So, well, maybe because I should tell you, while we are saying a lot more namaste, what it means is the light within me represents and respects the light within you. So maybe that's one good thing. We're all respecting each other a little bit more. Make you happy? Somebody else recognizes it? So let's start off with our financial report that is not as gloomy as the day is or the atmosphere. We'll start off with our regular income statement as we usually do. So we'll start and see we had a little bit of decrease in our operating revenue. Now, as you all know, that is due to our lower PPRF rates and our power marketing revenue moving into our purchase power revenues. We had about 2.5 million decrease in our power marketing revenues, 1.1 million decrease in our leader revenues, and about 0.2 million decrease in our work orders that we received from the outside. But That is nothing to be too sad about. On the other hand, our total operating expenses are down 3.826 million, which actually is made up of several different things. Our personal services and expenses went up by 953,000. That is due to us having one additional payroll period in the current year, having 9 versus 8. We have supply and maintenance going up 366,000. That is due to us spending a little bit over 179,000 in our supplies. We're buying more uniforms, more safety equipment, smaller tools, more precautionary items, and about 177,000 increase in our maintenance. Now that is due to us actually doing more preventative maintenance, and also as things get older, they just require a little bit more love. So, on the other hand, our purchase power and the fuel cost came down at 4.3 million. Now we all know that is due to our regional natural gas prices from the Permian Basin. So we keep receiving those benefits. It's down 4.3 million right now. That brings us to the total decrease of 3.8 million, and makes us, come on the positive side of it. Now our non-operating expenses, we also went up 1.3 million, and that is related to us having a higher bond interest cost that we paid of 491,000 and about 193,000 fees that we paid to Bank of America for our short-term loans program. Combined with that was the interest income was also down about 517,000, and our full rental income invoicing, we did it in February of this year, and that is 213,000 extra. That brought it down. Now, in the current year, you will also see our transfers, as we discussed in the prior month. We had to move our transfers in and transfers out for FFP and pilot into, the miscellaneous income. So, Andy had suggested, and I love the idea that we moved in that line item into the miscellaneous category, and we also moved the prior year's expenses within that. It's just for the good comparison, and for you guys to not worry about it. So if you're ever tying it to the year-end numbers, it would be just slightly off. But it's better for the entire year. It gives us a good comparison. So, moving on to our balance sheet side of things, we have a little bit of decrease in our cash, about 10.7 million in here. Now, that is largely due to our timings, our capital spending, us moving funds into investment accounts, and moving some of our money to escrow accounts, so Carolyn keeps on building all of our good stuff. Now, our our receivables also down by 5.3 million. That is due to the seasonality and some of the rates that they've adjusted in the prior months. Along with that, we have restricted investment that went down by 8.5 million when we compare it to the year end. And if you remember, restricted investment and capital asset always had the reverse relationship up until this point in time. But the only reason our restricted investment and capital assets are a little bit out of equation over there is because in our restricted investment we had to add in funds for our escrow account. As Carolyn keeps on building more and more items for us, we keep on replenishing those funds for them as they budget more and more. Along with that, the city usually moves our funding, and they are almost a month in the lag. So sometimes you would see that relationship not being always perfectly in line, as we say. But capital assets have gone up 22.3 million, and when we compare it to just prior month of December, we have a $6 million increase in our construction in progress category. So we're still building a lot of things. On our liability sides of things, also good news, our accounts payable and due to line item is down 10.2 million. Again, that is due to our CapEx spending, the year-end, all the invoices when that hits, and mostly the timing of it. But we should be able to see this continued pattern. All throughout the year, it would be a little bit lower than where we end the year at. Our deferred revenue, on the other hand, is up 1.2 million. Increase, that is related to our natural gas prices, as I mentioned. But in this month of January, we have actually collected 597,000 in that. Our customer deposits are also going up at 588,000. That is us making a change in our tariff where our residential customer policy now mirrors our commercial customer policy in deposits. So we have an increase in there. We do have our other accrued liabilities coming down by 2.1 million. That is due to unwinding of a year-end payroll that we did, and that was in about 1.3 million. Also, we made an interest payment, accrued interest payment of $821,000. That brings down the other liability downwards. Now, bonds and notes payable is high by $2.9 million, and that is one category that is continuing to grow. As we issue more notes, we construct more things, pay Sharon for their amount, we will continue to see increase in that category all throughout the year. So, how are we looking on the cash flows? Well, all good news. Our operating cash flow is in positive. We have 2.4 million positive growth in that. Our financing activity has a 3.3 million decrease, negative cash flow in the current month, but that's because our CapEx spending and every money that we'll be spending in our construction and building. Same thing with our investing activity. It's a 5.6 million lower, but as we move more funding into the escrow as we go around. So how do we now compare everything to the budget? So we're on tracking at about 1.8% increase in consumer meters revenue compared to where we were at this point in time in last year, January. And all of our other revenue is slightly down. That is, again, as I mentioned, our power marketing and off-system revenue is being slightly down. But since January is the fourth month, so if you anticipate all of our expenses compared to budget, should have been around 33.33, that good number percentage. So on that note, all the expenses are actually trending well within the limit and well below the limit, with an exception of our distribution plan, which is actually right on the budget. So even compared to budget, I feel like we're doing great so far. And that's it.
Questions? Mr. Taylor? Nothing?
Very good.
Thank you very much. All right, item 10, consider resolution appointing the general counsel of Love, Power, and Light and the terms of that appointment. That is
On page 100, are we on the resolution?
yes.
Page 100.
Mrs. Stafford, we'll let you address.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you. I would move that we approve the resolution on page 100 and that the blanks be filled in as follows. The salary of the general counsel shall be $183,300 per annum, together with all other benefits employment of the city of Lubbock included without limitation, and are provided the city's personnel policies, and be it further resolved that the general counsel have 3 weeks vacation per annum and shall accrue according to city schedule. This pay period would be effective March 14th, and we pass it today, March 17th.
All right, so we have a motion. We get a, go ahead.
Individual is Jenny Smith, of course. that would probably be helpful to know that.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
I believe she made a good second.
All right, Mr. Schultz, a second. Any discussion there? All right, with that, we'll take a vote. All those in favor, do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed on the same? Passes 7-0. Ms. Smith, and congratulations. Glad to have you. No longer there. All right, now we're going to get to some real business from you, I believe, as the general counsel. Discussion regarding access to city email, distribution, and information regarding the same, which is item 11 before we get to the
Yes, I just want to let you know, Ms. Pierce has provided you all with a sheet at your table that's individualized with username and password and screenshot so you can see how to fill in the information to access your city email and set up the account. The screenshot gives the example of the Chairman D. Odom, but then you can see below you've got your personalized information for how to access, and then at the top there's a link. So certainly let Ms. Pierce and myself know if you have any questions, but hopefully that handout will help you all access your email accounts, and they should all be set up by IT at this point.
And the password, it's static, we don't have to change it when we go in.
You will change it
We're
when you
going
go
to have to
in.
change it.
Yes.
Okay, so use that one as the old one and then put a new one in.
And if you get this email to you, do not copy and paste the password. It adds a space and will I'll let you do that. Do some circle.
What's the experience?
Questions on that?
What's the effective date that this goes live? Is it available now?
It's available now.
I'd recommend everyone going ahead and get this set up sometime sooner than later if you're going to use this in your personal. With what the mayor spoke about, what we all spoke about the meetings going forward for the time being, and doing that board reports, board packets, and everything else will be out here, and there'll be a lot more information, I'm guessing, digitally for us as we do conference calls or what it's called,
We've got Zoom line,
software,
Zoom
things like
conference
that.
line.
So, yeah, I would recommend getting this set up sooner than later. Any other questions before we get to the consent agenda? Consent agenda items. All right. The consent agenda, assume everyone's had a chance to read through those. There's items 12 through 22. Does anybody want to pull any of those or discuss separately? If not, I will entertain a motion for items 12 through 22.
So
Second. Motion for Schultz, second by Kevin, I believe. I was just going to
We'll
one of the
let
two.
him use the tie. Kevin wins the time.
We'll go with Kevin Wynn. And with that, I'll take a vote. All those in favor, please by saying aye. Aye. Opposed by the same. That carries as well, 7-0. Brings us to adjournment. Meeting adjourned. Welcome, Jenny. Thank you very much.